Oracle. What should they call her? What should they call her? Oracle. Hey, gang. First off, we're here to do Taurus 2026, but today is November 5th, which is still in 2025, and we are having the Taurus full moon in Scorpio. So I feel like it's very synchronistic that we should do the Taurus 2026 reading on the Taurus full moon in Scorpio. I just love the vibes. Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to go into the other stuff, but I will say that Empress energy is abound today. Okay. Definitely feel that. We are going to jump right in. I feel like was good project execute. I feel like I want to start off with saying that is it today? Today Venus goes into Scorpio. Okay. And that's going to change the vibe somewhat. It's a little sultry. It's a little secretive. Secret lovers, right? Now, why am I bringing this up in the 2026 reading? Because on November 7th, Uranus, which is in retrograde right now in Gemini, will be touching down in Taurus. What's good, that crazy V? I'm going to see you right after this, right? So it's touching down for the last time in Taurus, and it starts November 7th, but it doesn't really complete that whole transit until April 26th, I believe, of next year. So a good portion, I want to say the first third of the year, okay, is going to have a heavy Taurian influence. And I think there's a couple other signs, but Taurus, y'all one of the most influential signs of 2026 because of the Uranus transit. Okay? And because of the energy that is going to be in your house. It's my house and I live here, right? Yeah, it's going to be big things. And, you know, for those of you that are not familiar with the whole Uranus cycles, what's good, Tawanda? The whole Uranus cycles, wherever Uranus goes, it's changed through chaos and it leaves you better than where you were when it first came in. It takes about 7.5 years in every sign, okay? And specifically, when it happens to be in Gemini, as it has just begun its transit earlier this year in Gemini, it causes revolutions globally, historically. You know, don't argue with me, argue with your mama, right? I mean, historically. Okay, so with that being said, there seems to be a flashpoint that occurs when Taurus goes into its last transit, or I should say when Uranus goes into its last transit in Taurus, right before it solidifies its 7-year stay in Gemini. And that's where we are. We are at the flashpoint. Okay? So let me just check if that's my mom. No, okay. So that's where we are. That's why it's so important. A lot of the outer planets are at critical degrees between 28 and 0, causing a lot of explosive transformation. I almost said transportation, And those of you that are my Patreon, I've been talking about things falling out of the sky as you saw last night. Okay, so we're not going to get into all the other things, but I just want you to understand, Taurus, that there is a heavy concentration on your frequency right now because you rule finances, what we value, what is important. Okay, for those of you that were watching some of the election last night, you can see that kind of like values was a big thing, right? Like what people think is important, no matter where you sit on that scale. That was apparent. Okay, so as we're entering this Uranus in Taurus that's going to be with us for the first third of 2026, understand that it could be a tight squeeze about the things that are important to us, but it's for the betterment of what? Of the community as a whole, because Pluto is where? In Aquarius, which is the community, right? So think of the next 4 months as pressure bust pipes, and some situations have to come to a head. All right, so let's jump into it. Let's look at, and Hathor is a big influence. I feel like with this full moon, so it's fitting that I have been using the Isis Oracle for the 2026 readings. Spirit, can you show me the energy that which Taurus should be embodying for 2026, please? I open myself to receive the messages. Spirit, show me this. Scales of balance, and it came out in reverse. Okay. Anything else? I feel like this. What's the middle? I feel like the scales of balance in reverse. We're gonna feel off kilter, helter skelter. Spirit, what? And then these came, another one came out in reverse, and then the portal of light. Okay, the second one that came out in reverse is Temple of Lapis Lazuli, goddess of the ancient skies. Okay, I feel like now it's a Sekhmet, right? So if you know the tale, Sekhmet and Hathor are two versions of each other, right? So as the pressure is building, I feel like Taurus, there's something here about ancient tantra of the soul. There's that one was one of the ones that was in reverse. So you're repressing something, or you're like it's like a ticker, like you just want to release. Okay, goddess of the ancient skies was also in reverse. What was in the upright? Okay, portal of light. She glides on the wings through time and space, and I feel like this is your frequency. You have managed to kind of stay above the fray or out of the fray, or spirit has shown you in some fashion that although everything is very chaotic, like you are safe. Okay, and like there's been some things that have hit, and yet you're still good. Okay, so I feel like there's it's like proving something to you that even when you can't control the chaos around you, okay, because it may not be within you. So Taurus, I'm starting to feel like this reading or 2026. Okay, thank you, Spirit. All right. Thank you, Spirit. Okay. Uranus was in Taurus for 7, almost 8 years, since 2018. Think of all the shit that happened to you, Taurus, since 2018. Think of COVID. Think, all the things that have transpired, right? And in that time, you faced a lot of your inner demons. You faced how you responded to things so you could learn to navigate difficult situations, maybe sometimes isolated, maybe without okay, but without losing grace. Okay, so this was all inner work, right? Now it feels like 2026 is going to be things outside of us. Okay, and do we revert to lower forms, or do we apply what we've learned in our shadow work to our journey, right? Even outwardly, right? Very much so. Okay, so this is the part that you're taking with you for the last retrograde. Okay, wherever Uranus goes and leaves from that spot, you are changed forever. So this means that from now to April 26th, whatever you set your goals to, whatever you, especially if you like to manifest, okay, rather if you understand that something needs to transform forever, okay, then where would you like to see that transformation? And how can you direct that energy in a positive way into a positive space? Okay, so we're going to get some mantras for you for the year. Let's take a look. What's good, Venus? Spirit, can you show me? Mantras. Affirmations. Taurus. 2026. Taurus. 2026. I live an affluent life because it was written in the stars for me. Right? I am the blueprint for success. Okay, before I forget, I think in 2020, Saturn was in Aquarius, causing a square, okay, to that Taurus Uranus. It was difficult. Okay. I am the blueprint for success. Taurus, there's something here about learning or discovering who you were in the Uranus in Taurus transit, like really grasping who you were and what you could do. Okay. This may have been the part of the journey where you accepted that you're the creatrix, that you have the power to create that which is around you. Okay, the universe intended me to live a life of riches. Okay, so I feel like this is the mission for the year right here, because now that you have this understanding, right, how do you manifest it? Okay, and this last Uranus retrograde is going to make you shed whatever the fuck you were still holding on to, or whatever illusions or security blankets, that kind of thing. All right, let's see what the challenge is for Taurus in 2026. Where's the deck? Right here. What is the challenge for Taurus in 2026, please? The challenge for Taurus in 2026. Challenge for Taurus in 2026. change, unexpected income, gift cross, official person cross, mature woman, main male, adjudication. What's good, Denise? Hola de Chile. Bienvenidos. Okay, so there's definitely change afoot. And there may be more money headed your way in 2026. However, you've got a 9 here, and this is 27, okay? Which is also a 9. So I heard more money, more problems. Okay, so I don't feel like actual problems. I feel like they're new responsibilities. Okay, gift. Okay, don't look a gift horse in the face. Something about complaining. Don't complain. I'm a Taurus, so when I say that may not be so easy, but Spirit saying don't complain. Okay, you asked to be the official person. You are the official person. Step into it. Is there some kind of imposter syndrome, something you need to let go of? Okay, there could be two paths. One could be one path, and then the other one is something unexpected. Now with the 2, something could have felt very important to you. And now something else could feel like it's more of a priority. Sí, hablo español. Okay, so you got mature woman. This could be, if you're a female, you could be dealing with a female. This could be about your mom. This could be about somebody else. But it really feels like this has to do with your own maturity, male or female. Okay, this has to do with like the divine feminine within, but more like the crone energy. Okay, so speaking of experience, okay, and the main male, okay. So I feel like this with this main male, you could be examining your relationships and what kind of relationships you actually want. Okay, with adjudication and bad health, there could be some financial responsibilities. Ahora mismo estoy siendo Tauro por el año y no hago preguntas personales durante leyendo. Okay. Adjudication and bad health. Okay. Your finances could be a little out of whack. There could be some things that you need to, and ain't that everybody, right? Because, we're getting a hit, right? High honor, concern, message of concern, community, family room. Okay. Now, I see imprisonment and mature man and courthouse. Okay. There could be prisons of our own making. Spirit does want to make a mention of not giving up. Don't give up your dreams because you may feel like there's a lot of responsibilities. You can walk and chew gum at the same time. Okay, you may have to recalibrate. You may have to find new ways. Okay, because I feel like this is showing you something about external happenings and how you overcome them or transmute them or navigate them. All right, we're about to do your Celtic spread. Let's get into it. Spirit, can you show me for Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and North Node? Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and North Node. Spirit, you have the Chariot. There is movement, okay? You show me the situation for Taurus, please. Situation for Taurus. Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Queen of Wands. Feeling very magnetic. Spirit, can you show me what is the blockage? Page of Coins. You may feel like an opportunity is just there, but it hasn't hit. Okay, Spirit, at the bottom of at the foundation, conflict. Spirit, what's falling away? Nine of Staffs. Okay, you could be a little tired. Okay, but resistance, also external resistance, could be falling away. We will check that. Spirit, can you show me what's crowning Taurus for 2026? Temperance, healing. Okay, I feel like come together. That feels like timing. Okay, that one feels like timing. Spirit, can you show me what's coming in for Taurus in 2026? What's coming in for Taurus in 2026, please? What's coming in for Taurus in 2026? Death card, death and transformation. Okay, can you show me also what is it, how is it that Taurus sees themselves? Strength. Okay, you understand very much what you're capable of, right? This is something outside. Okay, Spirit, can you show me, please, how others see Taurus? The world. Okay, slightly crossed. Okay, Spirit, can you show me hopes and fears? Hangman with the Four of Cups. Feels like you're afraid of indifference, or you're afraid of something here. Okay, Spirit, can you show me most likely outcome for Taurus? Gang, gang. So this may be a somewhat challenging year financially. Okay, and this could be like, you know, across the board. Okay, but you have the Six of Swords here. You're definitely going to calmer waters. Justice as well. Okay, you may have to be verbal about something with the Knight of Swords. Okay, and the King of Swords. I feel like you do it feels like you overcome some problem, but it feels like it's strategy. Very much strategic. Okay, so let's get to clarifying for Taurus, gang, gang. Happy full moon, Taurus, gang, gang. Queen of Wands for Taurus 2026. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and North Node. Can you show me, please? Why is the Queen of Staffs here for Taurus, please? Three of Swords at the bottom. Okay, so there could be some things that you find difficult during the Uranus retrograde in your sign. Okay, you're very forward thinking though. and you know that there's a lot of energy or opportunity that's being drawn to you, okay? But it can feel, look how the Three of Swords stood there. Nine of Swords. You have worries about something. This could be external. Knight of Swords with the Nine of Wands and the Queen of Wands. You're trying to hold something together. Okay? Could be in your home life, okay? This could be a relationship, friend, family, or lover. Okay? And this could be something that was unexpected. Right? But I feel like you recognize that you have the power or the will or the means or the abilities, right? But with the Page of Coins coming up as the blockage, it feels like you think that there's still lack of opportunity, or knowing how methodical Taurus can be, you might be seeing like steps 1 through 5 and yet feel like I don't have 5 through 10, so it's not gonna, like, Taurus likes to see in their mind all the steps first before they actually take them. Okay? So this really could be you foreseeing, thank you, Spirit, foreseeing the lack of fluidity. Okay? Page of Pentacles. What's this about, Spirit? In the blockage. Why? You have the King of Swords and the Hermit and the Four of Wands. Okay, so High Priestess at the bottom of the deck. King of Wands under that. Four of Swords. Okay. I feel like you are trying to take action in the back on a situation that maybe needs to be healed. Your finances with the Four of Swords. Okay. There may be someone else that you have to collaborate with. Could be Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, who likes to do things their own way, or, right? And the Four of Wands. Okay, so peace and harmony, which feels like why you're trying to do something kind of behind the scenes in the High Priestess way. Maybe also the High Priestess is representing an inner knowing about how this situation is going to be, because at the foundation you have conflict. You foresee conflict, or feel conflict, or know that there's something that is at odds. Either this is let's say this is work. This could be like, hey, I know they need to lay off some people because things are different. They're gonna probably scale down to bare bones. Is my job safe? Right? Or in a relationship, right? Things are financially changing. Are we going to be able to maintain? Oh, this person needs to have something going on, and they're going to go on leave. So are we going to be able to financially make it? Or they're going on furlough. There's no, right? We're all going to be dealing with things like that. Okay, so Five of Wands, spirits. Why is this Five of Wands here? It's work. Can it work? Can whatever steps that you foresee, can it work? Because you are not working alone. There's moving parts, okay? Taurus, there's moving parts that necessarily you can't control, and it's making you a little nervous because normally you have a master plan, thinking of a master plan, and you usually can corral everything in like the bull, right? But now there's something else external that may be a little bit out of your control, and you're trying to lay the groundwork, or at least the mental groundwork, so that you can do this. Okay, so the 9 of Wands is here. This is what's falling away. You might have felt like 2025 was a lot about, or is a lot about, standing your ground, standing on business. You could have just made it by with the hair of your skinny chinny chin chin, right? Whatever that saying is. Spirit, can you tell me why this 9 of step, Page of Swords? You could have felt like, damn, everything I do, yeah, I get by. Remember, Spirit said, don't complain. I get by, but just fucking barely. 5 of Pentacles. This is not my normal state, or something like that. 5 of Swords, like the change you might have felt, you might have felt like the change wasn't really positive. Okay, like it might have hit your money harder. Okay. Also could be something about a family member or a male that you helped, or a father figure, or something related to somebody, right? Okay, there could have been somebody who was ill, or there could be somebody in your household who works for the government, is not getting paid. So it just feels like there's some type of blockage that you're trying to overcome come the beginning of 2026. Okay, Temperance. And that's the energy of falling away. So I don't feel like that's the energy of the year. But that may be how you go into the year. Okay? Temperance, Spirit. Why is this Temperance here? This is what's crowning you. Spirit, can you show me? With the Page of Cups. Okay? You're going to see tangible movement. Wow. Wow. Okay. So you have here Temperance. Comes out with the Page of Cups. Okay. You may feel like, I'm just trying to heal things. This really feels like your inner child. Maybe all of this external things that you feel, are unsettling, although most of them feel mental, like they haven't actually occurred yet. But because you're trying to walk through the steps, right? You could feel very restricted. Okay. But I feel like communication comes, boom. The world changes everything. The world is changing, right? But then what happens? You have 3 aces in a row. Everything but the Ace of Pentacles. Okay? With the 6 of Pentacles and the Empress, that's you. So this could be like, let's say some money does come into you. But you could have more money, more problems. Like the fuck I said in the beginning. You could have more responsibilities, right? Collaborations, right? There's things popping up, things unexpected. Okay, there could have been some things that happened that, you take my breath away, right? But the 2 of Wands, right? You got to make decisions, right? Queen of Pentacles, again, you, right? So it's like I said, you know your power. You know what you can do. What's happening here is something outside of you. What's good, your Empress, right? What's happening is outside of you, and you're trying to figure out how to maintain stability and be grounded as the Empress is. All right, so we're going to look at what's coming in. Spirit. What is this Death card here? Ten of Cups. The Hierophant. 6 of Swords. Judgment and the 7 of Pentacles. So for some of you. What's good, Dominique? Yes, happy full moon. For some of you, a collaboration's coming to an end. Okay? And you're walking away from that, and you may be trying to understand how to take the next steps forward. But the majority of you doesn't feel like a relationship's coming to an end. It feels like a transformation. Death card to the 10 of Cups with the Hierophant, which is the husband card, 6 of Swords, and Judgment. So for instance, you're married, but during this time, somebody is on temporary disabilities affecting the money, right? But this could be like permanent, or there's a shift in the family. Let's say there's even a new child, right? Death and transformation, right? But it also is more mouths to feed, or, you know, a child comes home to live, 6 of Swords, because it would be easier. What if we all get under one roof and we share bills instead of having all these different rents, right? But then there's a readjustment as to how everybody is cooperating, right? It's something shifting in your family or love life. 9 of Pentacles, your money is getting better. And the Emperor, your power, this feels like June, July. Where you're starting to, yes, okay, I got more money, more problems. Yes, okay, I got more things to be on top of. But I got this, okay? Like I said, I still am getting the feeling that somebody's a little bit man down around you, okay? Maybe they're out of work. Maybe they're going through depression. Maybe there's something going on around you, okay? And it feels like you're trying to navigate somebody else's situation. Okay, you got the Strength card. Spirit, what is this about? And like I said before, with that Uranus retrograde, that was with that Uranus being in Taurus for the last 7 years, and now it's having its final retrograde in our lifetime in that sign. It really feels like that was about changing certain aspects of yourself so that you could, you know, enter a new trajectory in a higher vibration. But now it's more, this last one is like, how do you transmute shit that's out of your control? Okay, so the Strength card, Spirit, what is this about? So you got the Strength card with the Devil and the 7 of Swords. This is in the position of how you see yourself, right? So it feels like a test. Okay, I'm strong. I can handle this. Okay, but it's like you could be really in the belly of the beast. Like I have 10 things coming at me. They might not all be major things, but they're coming at me so fast at the same time. It feels like, you know, like a truck, right? 7 of Swords. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. But maybe there's fear. Now, also, while this is happening, look out for someone, you know, when the cat's away, the mice will play. This doesn't necessarily mean cheating. This can be other things, like while you are trying, and that can be why it feels so overwhelming. While you're trying to navigate some situations, other situations could be occurring. And I had said before, like, keep on top of your finances. Like, so this could be forgetting to pay bills and things because there's so much happening. Okay? But I feel like you do start to get some kind of rebound. But this really feels like you not knowing if you can do something. What's good, Kels? Okay, this feels like you're not sure if you can do it. Okay, Spirit, can you show me why is the world here for how others see Taurus in 2026, please? Can you tell me? Tower. They can hear the goat. Because you handle everything. And that might be the problem. What's good, Candy? Okay? They got it. They do it. They always do it. Let Mikey eat it. He'll eat it. Right? Two of Wands, right? Seven of Cups. Remember to take breaks. Okay? You got the Queen of Pentacles again, the Three of Pentacles, collaboration, the Empress, the Ace of Wands, the Ace of Cups, the Ace of Swords. You've seen me shuffle, I don't know how many times. Okay, so they're still together, right? And then the Two of Swords, something that you can't see that's going to bring in balance to a situation that has been, unbalanced. And it brings you the Ten of Pentacles and the Sun. Okay? And it makes everything right, although it makes you a little sad. Okay? All right. Let's take a look at what's in your hopes and fears. And I think that this has very much to do with what's crowning you right now. Remember, I said there was this the inner child, okay, taking it slow or feeling, trepidation about something. Okay, you got the Hangman here for your fears with the Four of Cups. Okay, it feels like you need a new perspective on something, but you could also feel stopped. Okay, or like obstacles are there. There's a scarab here, right? I feel like this is also speaking of like value, worth, finances, wealth. You may feel constricted. Okay. I feel like you're trying to make the right decisions. And that's why you're being so cautious. Okay. Hangman. Why is this Hangman here? Temperance. Okay, I feel like you want to heal something. You're trying to be patient with something or someone. Trying to get a new perspective, okay? All of this change that's happening maybe to the people around you or the relationships around you or the opportunities around you has you looking at things in a very different way. And how you can be of maybe healing or of service or, okay? I'm also getting like this angelic feeling. Knight of Swords with the Nine of Swords, okay? And not all angelic energy is like warm and peaceful, right? I said to you, the Sekhmet and Hathor, right? And how Sekhmet was like the bloodthirsty version of Hathor. Right? So this is like, in this last chapter of this Uranus retrograde in Taurus, it feels like something is being changed in you about empathy. And I think this is going to happen for many people. Empathy, the collective, how we can use blockages, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, for the forward motion of the collective. Okay, so I feel like you're getting a new perspective. So let's say you had somebody around you that lost their job or is going through a mental health situation, like they went through depression because they lost their job. Like, you're going to be not only compassionate, okay, but I also feel like it inspires something in you. Okay, 4 cups is here, spirit. It's like what you'll fight for or something, right? 4 cups is here with the 10 of wands and the Knight of Pentacles, okay? And the King of Wands. Something might have taken too long. Okay? Or you fear that although you would want to be empathetic or change a situation, or now that you have this new perspective in 2026, you may fear that something is going to take too long to make a difference. Okay? I feel like you're ready to go. You got the King of Wands here. Okay, with the Moon, it's very deeply embedded in what you feel. Okay, the Moon can also be the mother. Okay, there could be some motivation by this inner child energy. High Priestess. Okay, I feel like this is the energy with the Magician building. Okay, I feel like you want to fight about something. Yeah, you had the 5 of Wands over here, right? So, for instance, you know, you're fighting for back unemployment, you're fighting for somebody's disability, you're fighting for, like, there's something that you're gonna stick up for in 2026. Okay, and that could be a lot of people. But Taurus, there's something definitely here about action that you're fitting to take. Let's look at the most likely outcome for my Taurus gang. Okay, we have the 9 of Coins in reverse with the Chariot crossed and the 7 of Coins. Okay, why is the 9 of Coins in reverse? Ace of Wands crossed and the 4 of Pentacles. Okay, so I feel like there's something here that you were once passionate about. I said there was going to be 2 lanes, but there's some kind of inspiration that comes from a blockage. Okay, and it feels like this thing that you were working at or doing, it may not be as fruitful as it was or something, or you're not as passionate about it, right? And maybe there's something else taking up your time. Maybe this other thing that you've gotten a new perspective on. Okay, and I feel like as you switch gears, that's the 9 of Pentacles. Okay, and the fucking Emperor. Okay, and it has something to do with your heart space. Also, again, could be the mother. Okay, and what you're willing to fight for. You know, Taurus, you're all about the self-worth. That is what is learned in the 2nd house. Although Taurus is attached to money, it's not really attached to money for the sake of money. It's attached to money for the sake of stability. Right? So let's clarify this Chariot cross. Spirit, why is the Chariot here crossed for Taurus in 2020? There goes that Ace of Pentacles. Okay, so it feels like you got a big ass Ace of Pentacles there, but you might not be able to make all the financial decisions that you want, how you want, because it feels like you have more responsibility. So maybe this big ass coin got to go further. I don't know. 2 of Wands, but you listen, you making the decision, and here you go. You are the Empress, okay? And then you have the 3 of Pentacles, and then you have the Queen of Pentacles, okay? Then you have the Ace of Cups, okay? So I feel like, and the Ace of Swords with the 2 of Swords, there's still something you don't see, But it all balances out. You got the Six of Pentacles and the Ten of Pentacles. Okay, so let's go to the Seven of Pentacles and look and see what that's about. Spirit, why is the Seven of Pentacles here for my Taurus gate? Listen, the 7 turns to the fucking 10. Okay, it may be born from some kind of heartbreak. Okay, maybe you fight for something and you win. Okay, but like I said, let's say, okay, well, in that time that we were fighting for that, the car got repoed. Now we could buy a new car, but it was still fucking mad stressful that we went through that. You don't know what we went through. We was trying to take the bus, whatever, right? Like, or we had to share cars or something, right? I feel like by the time 2026 is coming to a close, that will be done. Okay, but it feels like, remember, you had the Six of Swords at the bottom of the deck. We're gonna, with Justice. Okay, but you are fighting for something. Every time we look under the deck, we keep seeing the Knight of Swords. Okay, and the way and it's always coming out with the King of Swords. So it has to be the way that you deal with something, with maturity, with that thought. I said that there's this thing about using crone feminine energy, right? Spirit, why is this Six of Swords at the bottom of the deck? Why is the Six of Swords at the bottom of the deck, please? King of Pentacles and the Five of Wands comes out crossed. Okay, so you got a couple dings on you, yeah, but you still get to calmer waters. Okay, and then see the Three of Swords still there, right? And then the Justice card. Okay, you went through a lot of anxiety, whatever this is. Knight of Wands, okay? It was something you weren't familiar with. Page of Wands, okay? And you could have felt like you made some mistakes, but I feel like you did okay. You got the Nine of Pentacles here, and you're the Emperor, okay? You had to navigate some tough areas, okay? And the Queen of Pentacles is here with the Ace of Cups and the Three of Pentacles and the Empress, okay? I feel like you're going to have a lot of options before 2026 is over. Some of you may even get some proposals. Saw that twice. I feel like what can undermine you this 2026 Taurus is self-doubt, is impatience, is limiting beliefs, and not taking the time to like be still. Okay, stop worrying about, if people see you for who you are. Okay, because you had the Strength card with the Devil and the Seven of Swords. You don't have shit to prove to nobody, Taurus. Okay? You're going through some things. You're finishing up a really big transit for the death and rebirth and the new alignment, right? And Pluto's a 20-year cycle, right? And I want you to understand that Gemini, Uranus is going to go into Gemini after that April, and that's going to change your finances and the trajectory of your finances. In the next 7 years, your money is going to look very different. Okay? This is like a major level up and a major transition. Okay? So Spirit is saying, keep your heart, keep, you know, what do they say? Keep golden, pony. Okay? Spirit's going to show you that all the things that you learned to do and how to do them, there was a method to the madness, and that you will transmute this. You not only will you have enough for you, but you feel like home base. You feel like the anchor. Okay? You feel like rich soil. It's giving rich auntie vibes. Okay? Although it may not feel like that. Although you may not feel like that. Okay? But I think that by 2026, you might see, right, that you really are the emperor. And it's very important that you come to balance and come to terms with the changes that are coming your way. All right? That's what I have for my Taurus gang, Taurus 2026. I cannot listen. And oh, how could I forget? With the Aquarius North Node going into Taurus for 2026 in the middle of the year, you will be forced. Thank you, my love. Thank you. Did you give my mom some? She's just want to feel custom. Okay, I'll be down in a minute. With the Aquarius coming, there's going to be that Aquarius North Node. There's going to be real change, and you really will be in the house of transformation. Okay, because you're going to have Aquarius North Node. You're going to have the South Node in Leo. You're going to have Taurus and Uranus, right? So, and that's going to cause change to take hold and be rooted, okay? So I just wanted to mention that before I get up out of here. That crazy bee, I see you shortly. All right, I'm wishing you all light and love and blessings on blessings. Bye, guys.